welcome back to my channel. It's me, Mackie. Today we're going to be doing what I'm going to be calling Makeup Graveyard. We're going to dive into my collection and use all the old, exciting collections of the past that are just rotting in my makeup collection that are still good. Also, check out this Animal Crossing fossil pillow that my mom made me for my birthday. It's amazing. And also I'm using two little clips that my beautiful sister-in-law got me to wear in my videos. I love how marbly these are. As always, we're going to be blocking out the lids with a nice eyeshadow primer, and the palettes that we chose today were two collections that were done with Kathleen Light's the So Jaded palette and the Zodiac palette, which I think the Zodiac one was the first one. I believe it launched in 2019. It also had Super Shock cheeks and some lippies in the collection. I remember also they launched a like loose pigment. I still have and still haven't used barely any of it. I think that's probably why they discontinued using like the loose pigments, because that's a lot of product to give out for such an affordable price. We're going to be going in with the shade The Taurus, which is a nice warm toned brown, and we're using these new little brushes that my husband got me for my birthday. They're perfect for the crease. I'm obsessed with them. I will be linking them below. I think these are going to be my new favorite eye brushes. They're just perfect for getting a lot of detail in and also slowly building up that color where you want it without like a huge brush getting in the way, and you can just be more detailed and precise. I am obsessed. I definitely think I want to get more of them just because I love them so much, and I think they're going to be good for really colorful looks. If I wanted to do a rainbow look, I could be so precise with these. But we're basically just dragging this into the crease and then bringing it into like a kind of smoky cat eye shape that I like to do a lot. I had this idea the other day when me and two friends were on our way to a Sabrina Carpenter concert. We were all talking about how we're never going to get rid of these palettes because they were like our first ones from Colourpop that we were obsessed with. And I can tell you, this may be from 2019, but it still works just as beautifully as it did when it was fresh. And it also shows me how little I used it because it looks brand new. So I hope this reminds you, if you have this palette, that it's still in your collection. You should whip it out and use it more. I feel like this is a really good fall palette. It has a lot of warm tones, but also some cool tones and fun shimmers in there. I'm going to take the Virgo, which is a nice cool toned brown, which you wouldn't think would go well with this warm toned brown, but they do blend really well. And I did take another one of those small brushes and blend that into the crease just to add a little bit more definition. I do lace back and forth between that warm toned brown and the more cool toned brown just to add more dimension and blend them really well together. I really try to take my time and buff these two together and make it look nice and soft. You could leave it as this and put some mascara on and it would look like a really pretty, just everyday eye. I've just been really depresso espresso, as they say. I've been trying to find a new job and it's just feeling a little hopeless with especially how the world is lately. But I'm going to keep doing these videos because it keeps me busy and I really enjoy doing it. And I did just hit over 730 subscribers and I'm really proud of that. We are taking the shade The Libra, which is like a nice warm toned pink. And I feel like you could definitely use this pink as like a blush if you really wanted to. And we are just kind of buffing those edges out with it just to add a little bit more warmth, because I really wanted to use a lot of the shadows in this palette. Took that mustard color called Citrine from the So Jaded palette, and we also added that to the above that crease just to add more color and underneath the lash line. And then we took two shadows from this palette, which were called Peridot and Diamond. One is that like olive shimmery green, and then the other one's a little bit more icy duochrome kind of blue reflect silver. I just dusted that one on top to add a little bit more sparkle to the look. Diamond is another shade you could use as a highlighter on your face. I use eyeshadow as like contour blush highlighter a lot of the time because it is like just a more pressed pigment, and if you buff it out right, it just looks as similar as a highlighter or a blush or a bronzer. Especially those cool tone like greigey taupe colors, those are really good for contouring if you run out. We are just going to take the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Flick eyeliner marker in black as always to add a little nice kitten flick to the eye. I feel like this eye could be called the martini look. I don't know, like olive martinis. And you could just leave the eyeliner as that, but I did take the black that had a little bit of like a gold sparkle running through it from the Zodiac palette called the Capricorn on that small pointed brush, and I just dusted it over the liner just for more sparkle. You don't have to do this, but I really would suggest doing your eyes first if you're gonna do this, because this black had a lot of fallout. Was this step necessary? No. But I did it anyways. We added some mascara and my favorite lash strip collection, You Do You lashes, and then we're going in with an oldie but a goodie, the Porefessional by Benefit. I still have this and it still smells exactly the same, so that tells me it is still good. It's one of those OG primers that I feel like came onto the market when there weren't a lot of primers. At least I don't remember there being a lot of primers. Maybe there was some in e.l.f. that I tried, but this was like the first like bougie one that I ever got. And it's really good, nice and blurring, and helps keep your makeup lasting all day, and I don't ever have any issues with it blending weird with my foundation. We're using the Beauty Blender Bounce Skin Tint. I wouldn't say this is like super old. I did recently do a foundation declutter, which I will link in the cards, and I did get rid of all of my like super old foundations that were like congealing and disgusting, but I haven't used this, and I want to say at least a year and a half or two, because I have so many other foundations, and I really forgot how good this is. It blends perfectly into my skin, it matches perfectly, it never looks too makeup-y, never sits weird on my skin, and I'm gonna keep using this. I just need to remind myself to look into my foundation drawer more and not just keep using the same thing every time. I'm excited to keep doing this makeup graveyard series to whip out all those old viral makeup collections that launched forever ago that we have all forgotten about, because I know it's still in my makeup collection. Every time I like go buy new makeup, I'm like, no, you have a Sephora at home. We are going to be using the super viral at the time Freestar Cosmetics Magic Star Concealer. I don't really support this person anymore. They're very controversial, but I will give them the courtesy of saying this. At least the packaging is very interesting. You don't usually get something very interesting with the tube of concealer, and this was innovative and different, even if the star is a little sharp and pointy. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this concealer. It smells like paint, which I do remember it smelling like paint when I got it. And I was a little scared it was going to be too light. And at first I was like, oh, this looks hideous underneath my eyes. But once I buffed it out with my sponge, it actually looked pretty good. So I need to start using this more just so I get the use out of the product and not let it rot in my collection. This is the Coty Airspun powder. I've had the same one forever. It's like disgusting on the top and there's like pimple patches stuck to it. But my friend Casey uses this powder still to this day. So I wanted to whip it out again because it's so old. I need to keep using it. It still smells the exact same, which takes me back to high school. But this powder, honestly, so blurring. It is just as good as the ones that I'm obsessed with, and I completely forgot about it. Only that is it is also the fraction of the cost of a lot of my favorite powders. We're going in with the Creature Cosmetics Fear Face Contour and Blush Palette. It's the Trick or Treat collection that they did. I don't think this is available anymore, but my favorite contour trio from Kaleidos is basically gone, so I was like, I need an alternative without having to spend more money, because I did get one from AliExpress and I was very disappointed. The pigmentation is just not there enough for me. And I looked in my collection and there this was, just rotting in my drawers. I'd completely forgotten about it, and it is spooky season, so perfect time to bring Sam out again. He's always sitting on my couch, so I don't know how I forgot about this palette. It's super beautiful, and I think it's gonna last me another year or so because of how much powder I still have left in that contour. I'm just glad I found it. It's the perfect grayish tone. Two blushes I feel like were very viral at the time were the Too Faced Blush Long Lasting 16-Hour Blushes. There are a bunch of shades. I have two, and I have the one that is called I Will Always Love You, and it's like a nice warm toned peach. And then this Kathleen Lights blush. The pressed powder blushes I remember being super popular from Colourpop, especially this one, which is also sadly discontinued. And it's called I Need Space. I forget how much of a little bit of a glow this blush has, and I need to use it more. more because it's super beautiful, and I thought they blended really good together. Like, you want a little too hard on your contour blush, just take some translucent powder and buff it around the edges. And I always add my blush to like the bridge of my nose and my forehead just to tighten them all together. Another thing that made me think of Makeup Graveyard is the Colourpop Luster Dusts. In 2017, these were like so popular, and they do not sell them anymore, probably because they give you so much product for very little money. It probably wasn't cost effective. I'm going to be using the shade Strobe Globe, which is like the champagne gold color, and also Gnomie, which is the more pink silver, and I just mixed the two together. And I need to use these more just because they're super beautiful on the skin. It's not too intense, but if you build it up enough, you can be very shining from space. I will have these until I am dead because I just can tell you I'm never going to use all of them. I didn't have an old lip liner, so I just used my e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liner. Spill the Tea, which is a nice warm brown. I just thought this would go well with a nice fall lip, which are only $2. And then I remember what used to be so viral is like metallic liquid lips. And I still have this one from Milani, and it's very like pumpkin spice, warm toned fall, and I wanted to whip it out again because I feel like metallic lips should come back because they look really beautiful and multi-dimensional and not super flat for being a like transfer proof matte. The shade 02 Materialistic, you don't even want to know how long it took me to pronounce that. Ignore my lip zit, it's driving me nuts. It messes up my lip lines. I could go over it, but I don't want to. It's just like a nice chocolatey brown with like a warm bronze undertone running through it, and I really like it. I think I have a few other shades of this, and I feel like these need to come back. I think you can still buy them in store, or at least online. I'm not sure. But I do remember when they were all the rage, and I remember every single brand coming out with metallic lipsticks. I feel like I'm the only one on the planet that still wears matte lips, but I just don't like the thought of it running all over my face. I will live with dry lips forever, so it doesn't do that. But I feel like this turned out a nice fall look, perfect for a forest trot through the woods or pumpkin patch. Very sparkly, and I think hopefully this makes you go look into your collection before you go out and buy things, because I had this sitting in my collection and I didn't even remember. But let me know if you enjoyed this series. I really want to keep doing it and looking through the makeup archives of the past. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Bye!